Hi everyone, this is Dom Bettinelli, CEO of StarQuest, with a special message as we approach the Christmas season. This past year, the StarQuest network has continued to expand our mission of exploring the intersection of faith and pop culture through our many entertaining and informative programs. Now we need your generous financial support to reach new audiences with more of the life-changing and uplifting programming we've been creating for more than a decade. That's why it's very important that we hear from you this Advent and Christmas, the time when nonprofits receive most of their support for the year. If you are already a supporter of StarQuest, we thank you and ask you to prayerfully consider increasing your support at this time. If you're not yet a supporter, please become one now. Every gift counts. Could you give $15 or even just $10 per month? Whatever level of support you can offer, please show your support for SQPN this Christmas. And remember that your gifts may be tax deductible. Just go to sqpn.com/give. That's sqpn.com/give. May God bless you this Advent, and may you have a blessed Christmas season.
You're listening to episode 69 of The Catholics of Oz. The Catholics of Oz is a show where we discuss faith, culture, and what's been happening from an Aussie perspective. Whether it's synods or science, apostolates and apps, providence or productivity, you can hear it right now on The Catholics of Oz. Hello and welcome to episode 69 of The Catholics of Oz. So good to have you with us. My name is Lindsay Sands. I am one of the hosts of this show and really happy to have you all joining us for, I think it's our second last episode of the year. And joining me today is my wonderful sister, Caroline Knight. Caroline, how you going?
I am good, thank you. I'm enjoying the nice sun that's coming through the window. It's a beautiful day so far.
Wait a minute, how are you getting sun? I've got wind and clouds. I only live like 20
really?
minutes away from you. What's going on?
I did have wind and clouds before, but the sun's poking out and it's going away now. So thanks for ruining it.
Oops. I was going to say, I'm looking forward to the sun coming this way. We'll see whose weather
it's
goes
probably
where.
heading your way.
Yeah, great. And also joining us, Lito Sabal. How you going?
I'm good, guys. Yeah, the same here, Lindsay. I've got overcast and very windy. It's so windy you can probably fly a kite. Make sure you got its strings very strong, because that kite's going to snap out because it's so blustery out there.
It is.
But I should be okay. You should be okay. But doing well, guys. Yeah, doing well.
Sorry, Melbourne spring weather. It's
That's
so windy,
right.
You'll probably lose a kite.
La Nina.
That's our next
La
advertising
Nina
campaign.
Yeah. La Nina's visiting us this summer, which makes it a bit cool and
It's
rainy.
a bit cooler summer, yeah. It's actually
not
been
fair.
a relatively cool spring, hasn't it? We've had some nice days here and there.
That's it.
I'll tell you one
day
thing.
was very hot, very hot. That was it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I'll tell you one thing I'm not enjoying about spring. Hay fever. It's back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's bad for it this year.
Yeah.
It is.
There's actually, I've had to change where I drop off Damien. This sounds so inane, but I had to change where I drop Damien off for when I take him for his to the bus. So every morning I drive him to his bus stop for school, and I usually drive him behind a petrol station that's close by. And then like the bus stop is a 2-second walk from there. But I don't know what grass or plant is growing there, but every time he opens the door to get out, it feels like a wall of something hits me.
No.
And I sneeze like crazy. Like my eyes go red and teary and I start sneezing. I don't know what it is. There is something there that my face does not like.
Goodness me. That's bad.
I've had to drop him off somewhere else because it's this overwhelming smell of, I don't know, it's like a cut grass kind of smell, but it's really potent.
Yeah, very potent. Yeah. Got to say, man, you had to wear those gas masks, with the big filters on the side.
Yeah.
Or I could just drop him off somewhere else.
Easy.
That's true.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, I hope I didn't trigger anyone's hay fever talking about it. Yeah. The other thing is, it's just been weeks and weeks of itchy eyes. Like I just,
It has been hay fever season, man. Yeah. Not only can you smell it, but you can see it all over the place.
You can feel it.
You can.
Yeah, definitely. You can feel it. Yeah, definitely.
Victoria, feel the hay fever.
Forget COVID. We got hay fever.
Hay fever,
yeah.
He's got over COVID now. We're in a hay fever season. Yeah. Make sure you take your hay fever shots.
Yeah. Okay. And that's a friendly reminder from anyone who's listening in Melbourne to go and take your medication right now.
Take your Zyrtec.
Yeah, take your Zyrtec.
Yes, definitely.
Speaking of Zyrtec, I know we have a show to start, but you just reminded me of another story, Caroline. Many years ago, it must have been my second or third year of my teaching career, when I was teaching at the junior campus of our school. So this is year 7 to year 9 students. I'd gone into work and I'd forgotten to take my hay fever medication, and a colleague of mine, he was an older colleague, a good friend of mine, and he said, "Oh, I've got some Zyrtec. Do you want this?" And I said, "Yes, please. I'll take anything." Well, almost anything, but just to get rid of these symptoms. So I took it, and I didn't realize that this actually made me really drowsy because I hadn't taken Zyrtec
side
before.
effects. Oh,
So
no.
I walked into a Year 7 RE class, religious education class, with some very energetic Year 7s.
Oh my
And
God.
they're like, they're all
no.
going, Mr. Sam, Mr. Sam, Mr. Sam. That's what it sounds like to me anyway when I'm in Year 7 class. That's all I hear. And I'm going, good afternoon,
Oh my
everyone.
God.
I hope you're all awake. Anyway, so that was 70 minutes of pain, and then I got back to it. So I didn't tell them, or I didn't give away to them that I was feeling drowsy. I just
Oh my
taught the
gosh.
lesson.
Yeah, yeah.
I went back to my desk and I said, "What was in that tablet?" And they all started laughing at me. Anyway,
Oh, goodness me.
yeah.
Poor
So
thing. That's the worst to happen at work.
yes, and I haven't taken a Zyrtec ever since.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
gosh.
That is if you're planning to have a rest later on.
Yeah, that's
Not-
right. Yeah,
Not just when you have a year 7 class.
yeah.
before
Definitely,
coming in.
I definitely do not recommend drowsy medication before teaching a Year 7 class.
Yeah, it's
That's
true.
my teacher pro tip,
No.
everyone.
Oh, my
Yep.
goodness.
All right. So, with those little anecdotes out of the way, let's get this show on the road, shall we? So, just want to remind you, first of all, before we continue the show, that the Catholics of Oz is posted. All of our episodes are posted on SQPN's Facebook page at facebook.com/StarQuestMedia, and also on Twitter, where you can find us at the handle at SQPN. So, if you visit those, if you subscribe to those and like those, please share our shows with others, especially anyone who you think would get something out of listening to us as well. Maybe not hay fever sufferers for this episode. Do them a favor and don't share this one. Except for the reminder to take their medication. Also, if you're listening to the Catholics of Oz for the first time, welcome. So good to have you here. Hope we didn't lose you over the hay fever stuff if you haven't switched off already. But you can subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, or your favorite podcast player. All of the shows that are a part of the SQPN network are also posted on YouTube, including the Catholics of Oz. You can subscribe there, and don't forget to hit the bell to get notifications when new episodes are released. And also, while you're on your favorite platform that you listen to us on, please remember to leave some feedback, some lovely positive reviews, and a 5-star rating. 5 stars. I love this show. I hate to talk about hay fever though. Yeah.
It's true,
Yeah.
that's true.
Yes. Hay fever symptoms intensifying. Well, we're lucky because in America right now, it's what is it? They're going through winter or autumn. No, sorry, autumn right now. They call it fall. Yeah. So no hay fever there.
Not
yeah.
yet, no.
I hope. Yeah. We'll get a nasty email if we've set someone off anyway. Okay. From this point on, I vow not to talk about that particular ailment. So, Carolina Lido, I wanted to share. Now, this topic it's not as extensive. So I've been putting a lot of hours of research into Catholics of Oz in the last month and a bit. So going through the Take the Way of the Gospels initiative, which we love so much, the Australian Catholic Plenary Council that's been happening, and the Synod on Synodality that's also going on as well. So the church, like I've mentioned, the church is doing a lot of big things, and I think it's really important for us to keep that in our minds, and I guess to participate wherever we can and whenever we're called to, as the baptized. But today I wanted to change tack and talk about. I came across this article. It's just a small one, but I thought it was nice. I thought it was interesting, and I thought it'd be good food for thought for all of us, just to talk about. So Pope Francis recently, and this article is from the 22nd of November. So by the time this podcast comes out, it might be a little bit old. But Pope Francis released a text, and it's called "The Beatitudes of the Bishop," and he gave it to all the Italian bishops that were meeting at a plenary assembly in Rome. And basically, it offers encouragement and pastoral guidance not only to the Italian bishops, but also to the more than 5,000 Catholic bishops in the world today. So there's a fun fact for you. We have over 5,000 Catholic bishops in the world today, in case you wanted to know. Yeah. So the Vatican then released the text of these Beatitudes. Pope Francis actually gave them a card. So the card had an image of the Good Shepherd on one side and this text of the Beatitudes of the bishop on the other side. So this was presented to more than 200 bishops at this at the opening session of this plenary assembly for Italian bishops, and on the 22nd of November. Now, the Beatitudes were not created by Pope Francis, these particular Beatitudes. They were actually written by the Archbishop of Naples, Domenico Battaglia, I hope I said that correctly, who first used it at the ordination of 3 new bishops in his diocese on October the 31st. So he read it as a homily for those 3 new bishops. So the Pope had learned about the text, and apparently he loved it. He said, "Yep, this is great. I really love this." Those weren't the words he used. I'm putting words in his mouth. However, he had it printed on a card, and then he gave it to each Italian bishop. So essentially, it's modeled on, we know of the Beatitudes, blessed are the poor in spirit, Jesus' original Beatitudes. So this is the sequel. So, yeah. But it's modeled on these 8 Beatitudes given by Jesus in the Sermon of the Mount in Matthew's Gospel. And the idea is that Pope Francis wanted to give these 8 Beatitudes a lot more visibility than they would have had. So he wanted the bishops to know about them. Because what they do is they provide practical guidance for bishops on their role, basically. So what might a bishop look like if they are fulfilling their role as the Good Shepherd? Not to say that bishops aren't doing that, but it's we always need reminders and provocations to shake us into remembering who we are and what it is that we're doing with our roles as baptized, including our bishops as well. So. The Beatitudes of a bishop is challenging in the style of Pope Francis, according to this article. They offer a portrait of how a pastor should be in the 21st century, in a world where there is so much poverty, injustice, conflict, suffering, and human fragility. So it says here that they're called to serve and to dirty their hands, to wipe tears and work for justice, peace, and reconciliation, to find goodness even in the worst of situations, and to build fraternity in today's world. So Lito and Caroline, and everyone who's listening, here are the 8 Beatitudes of the bishop, endorsed by Pope Francis, not created by Pope Francis, but endorsed and shared by Pope Francis. So the first one is this: blessed is the bishop who makes poverty and sharing his lifestyle, because with his witness, he is building the kingdom of heaven. Blessed is the bishop who does not fear to water his faith with tears, so that in them he can be mirrored the sorrows of the people, the labors of the priests, who finds in the embrace of the one who suffers the consolation of God. Blessed is the bishop who considers his ministry a service and not a power, making meekness his strength, giving to all the right of citizenship in his own heart, so as to inhabit the land promised to the meek. Blessed is the bishop who does not close himself in the palaces of government, who does not become a bureaucrat more attentive to statistics than to faces, to procedures than to stories, who seeks to fight at the side of people for the dream of the justice of God, because the Lord encountered in the silence of daily prayer will be his nourishment. Blessed is the bishop who has a heart for the misery of the world, who does not fear dirtying his hands with the mud of the human soul in order to find there the gold of God, who is not scandalized by the sin and fragility of the other, because he is conscious of his own misery, because the look of the risen crucified one will be for him the seal of infinite pardon. Blessed is the bishop who wards off duplicity of heart, who avoids every ambiguous dynamic, who dreams good even in the midst of evil, because he will be able to enjoy the face of God, tracking it down in every puddle of the city of people. Blessed is the bishop that works for peace, who accompanies the paths of reconciliation, who sows in the heart of the presbyteriate the seed of communion, who accompanies a divided society on the pathway of reconciliation, who takes by hand every man and every woman of goodwill in order to build fraternity. God will recognize him as his son. Blessed is the bishop who for the gospel does not fear to go against the tide, making his face hard like that of Christ heading to Jerusalem, without letting himself be held back by misunderstandings and by obstacles, because he knows that the kingdom of God advances in contradiction to the world. So those are the 8 Beatitudes of the bishop that Pope Francis endorsed. I thought maybe we might just share our reactions to those. So Caroline, do you want to go first? What did you hear in there? What's your reaction to those 8 Beatitudes?
I think it's nice. It's like Pope Francis handing out how to be a perfect bishop kind of thing, and just a reminder of maybe not what they should be doing, but kind of what they should be aiming for in their role as bishop. And also, I think it very much reflects how Pope Francis actually is. Like he I would say that embodies him pretty well. Like he's so giving of himself as a pope. You know, he's very mission orientated, and you know, he's very caring, and you know, he's that kind of pope that kind of likes to be with the people and care for people as much as he can in his role as pope. So I think he's also encouraging bishops to kind of be that kind of bishop as well. I mean, I guess there has been a bit of a history with some, not all, but some bishops, you know, taking their office like as if it is a political position, and, you know, and some unfortunately do get interested in money and you know, furnishing places and things like that, where really, you know, they should be interested in serving the people, because that's what their role really is about. So yeah, I think it's a really nice, gentle reminder, and a positive reminder too, a positive kind of reminder, I guess, about, you know, how to be gentle and serve the people. Yeah, so that's my reaction anyway.
Yeah, I'd like. I think you're right. That you could see why Pope Francis's eyes would have lit up as soon as he heard of these, because it's very much in his style of that practical application of the gospel. And I guess he's constantly encouraging everyone to make the gospel more practical in their lives. And the bishops, he's clearly those are the people that he would experience the most, in a sense. That those are the people that, you know, his, apart from the whole church, but his pastoral care for them is also there as well. So to follow his example, Christ's example, really too.
Exactly.
Of putting the gospel on the ground and giving it legs. That's you know, that encounters the people. That's a really good observation. Yeah. All right, Lino, what's your reaction? What did you hear in those 8 Beatitudes?
Yeah, they're all very beautiful in their own way, and it's like you know, Pope has given them a card of love. I don't know. It just sounds like it.
Nice. Yeah,
I like that. Yeah.
Like the bishops. I know, like Caroline said, and you guys have known that. They've had a bad rap in many years, you know, in history and everything, and you know, Pope Francis just wants to give them so like I said, a card of love, and say, look, this is what the bishops that you work for and with, and not only for yourselves, for everyone else in the world, and just a reminder, just like a love letter of a reminder, if you know what I mean. You know, and it's I'll have to read it again, but I love every one of them, and I should have done my homework on this one. I would like to sort of compare it to our Catholic Beatitudes. I've even got the book here, and I was trying to find I'm trying to compare them and look through them.
Did you read that whole catechism to prepare for this podcast?
Come on, guys. Look, there is an index. There is an index. Yeah, there's an index.
For those who can't see what we're seeing right now, Lino is flashing his catechism to show us how. He's done his homework.
Very good.
It's like a name drop. It's like, oh yeah, I've met this person. Like, oh yeah, I've got a catechism right here.
Oh, yeah, I've just got it right here.
Oh, I just happen to have my catechism right here. Yeah. What a coincidence.
Very, very first time I'm sort of organized in a sense.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, it looks very, it's, all of them are very, like I said, very beautiful and have a very good meaning for all our bishops. How many? 5,000?
Over 5,000 in the world.
Over 5,000 in the world. So I didn't know that we had so many. I'm sorry, being so naive. I thought we had a bit tad less.
Yeah, because it's a big planet.
yeah, that's what I mean. It's not spread out throughout the whole.
Earth-sized, yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
I mean, considering, not that everyone in the world is Christian, but ministering to a population of 7 billion other human beings. It's
exactly. Yeah,
it's a big job.
It is. Like it's very, very, like I said, keep on saying, it's very beautiful, and I hope the bishops I know I'm not going to tell them like what to do. Definitely not. Like bishops, put them in somewhere close to yourself, maybe in your wallet or even near you, on you. Just when you have those times of trouble and times of prayer, of course, the bishop will always prayers, but maybe take that little card out or that message out and just read it, just to meditate upon it and just go, okay, I need to go through what we need to go through, and wherever they are, just yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. No, thanks for that too. I read the third and the last one really struck me as pretty powerful. I'll read the third one again and just have a listen to this and see how the language strikes you, the two of you. Blessed is the bishop who considers his ministry a service and not a power, making meekness his strength, giving to all the right of citizenship in his own heart, so as to inhabit the land promised to the meek. That line, giving all the right to citizenship in his own heart. Oh my gosh. You know what I mean? Like
they're pretty deep. Yeah.
They're pretty deep. I look at the pastoral sense that he's trying to say that no one is left behind. Every person needs to be in the heart of the bishop. It tells you how big the role of a bishop really is. So, I've been to conferences, right, where, not to be negative or anything, but I've been to some conferences where it was popular for someone to maybe do a bit of bishop bashing. Okay, that's what I call it anyway. Where where there's that good old statement, "Oh, the bishops," and everyone's like, "Ho ho 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 ho," whatever. All right. Yeah, that's how they laugh. That's what it sounds like. All right. So, yeah. Very snooty laugh. No, anyway. Yeah, and again, not to have a go at anyone, but the thing is, it's very easy to blame and bash bishops for the things that are going wrong in the church or whatever else, right? And look, there have been bishops who have done things that are terrible, and we know it. All right, we just look at the history in this archdiocese. We've seen some pretty bad things happen. Like, so there's that as well. But I think sometimes people attack bishops for doing too much or doing too little, so that you can't do anything right as a bishop. So it must be a challenging life for a bishop who's really sincere in his ministry. And I think that the challenge of being a bishop is right there in that line, giving to all the right of citizenship in his own heart, because in a sense this tells us about how many people the bishop has a responsibility for as their pastor, and how through their hearts we have access to Christ, if in a sense. What the bishop does is present Christ to us, and Pope Francis is trying to remind the bishops to do that. The other one I really loved was the last one. Blessed, I won't read all of it, but blessed is the bishop who for the gospel does not fear to go against the tide, making his face hard like that of Christ heading to Jerusalem, without letting himself be held back by misunderstandings, etc. So in Luke's gospel, in chapter 9, it's considered the midpoint of the gospel, where the story changes, because it says that, now I'm going to quote the line very poorly, I think, but it says that Jesus set his face towards Jerusalem. So Luke didn't have to describe it that way, set his face, because he said, and then Jesus decided to travel to Jerusalem, but he says, Jesus set his face towards Jerusalem. So what we then have is the rest of Luke is about Jesus journeying to Jerusalem and teaching along the way, and then fulfilling his destiny, his destined role of being crucified and dying, and then resurrection and salvation for us, all of those kinds of things. But the idea of setting your face towards something is to be resolute, is to be determined, is to not back down in the cause of right. And I think that it's a beautiful image to bishops know more about, they have a better understanding of the Gospels than I do. So any bishop that's reminded, to make their face hard, and because there's the thing Jesus says, make your face hard like flint, that resolution, and to walk towards the challenges rather than walking away from them, rather than hiding in a palace, as some bishops in other parts of the world have done, have been, criticized for the scandal that causes. But to actually be like in the mess, and doing what needs to be done. So I think it's a beautiful image there. I might do a quick comparison of an example I've seen where a bishop has done not so well and a bishop has done well. And I won't name the bishop who has, for the sake of his dignity, I won't, maybe he was having a bad day. I don't know. But I remember, now this was years ago. So, and I think actually this bishop isn't bishoping anymore. So that's okay. It's, retired and, out of the picture. But but I did go to a confirmation once where this person was doing confirmation for the for the grade 6 children at not at our church, at a different church, which is why I can mention this. And he was preaching the gospel, and he started the homily, and he started with something along the lines of, God doesn't want namby-pamby Catholics. You're either in or you're out. And
wow. Okay. Wow.
I was a bit heartbroken by that sermon, because this is what the grade 6's children were hearing at their confirmation. And again, I'm not criticizing this bishop. I'm sure he's a great person in real life, and maybe
it's
something that set him off that day. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yep. All bishops have sort of do their different styles in a sense.
They all have their style.
That's his style. Yeah. Maybe he read something in the news that made him really unhappy. I don't know. And he was a bit extra fired up that day. And I will name this next bishop because I was really impressed by what he did. We had my son Damien's confirmation just a couple of weeks ago now. And fortunately, and thank God, literally thank God that we're actually able to have it.
Do it.
Because
wow.
the date's been changed 3 times, and so I'm really grateful to God that we've been able to have his confirmation. It was such a beautiful night too. But Bishop Tony Ireland, who is a relatively new bishop in the auxiliary bishop in the Archdiocese of Melbourne, he preached about confirmation to the children, and during the homily he got down from the lectern and he walked down the middle aisle and he spoke to every child, every person, because there were adults there as well. He spoke and used what they said as part of his homily, and then he incorporated the name of our parish, Holy Family. So that week, it was a Thursday night. That week, he'd done confirmations at different places on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And he said, I've deliberately preached a different homily in every place that I've been to, because I want to speak to your context where you are. And he said, your confirmation is sealing you with the Holy Spirit and making you a holy family for God, a holy family on God's mission. And I'm like, this is what the children need to hear. This is what we all need to hear as well. So I was so grateful for that message. So again, I know I talked about bishop bashing, and I was not bashing that previous bishop, so I'm getting tongue-tied now.
It sounds like almost rapping there. Sorry.
Yeah. It sounds like a Dr. Seuss novel. I will bash you now. I will know. Anyway, I'll take that back. Anyway, I think, but what I'm doing is using that story as a contrast with what Pope Francis has said. And to say that, this is a call from Pope Francis for all of our bishops and all of us too. We have to take it may be written with bishops in mind, but we're also baptized and we have to take on board the lessons too. We can't just put it all on the bishop's shoulders. But there's this call for us to again and again, reflect Christ in everything that you do. If you could summarize those 8 Beatitudes for the bishops, it would be reflect Christ in everything that you do. Let people see Christ, working through you. So so I think they're a timely and beautiful reminder, especially as the world works really hard to open up and try and establish normals again. It's a good manifesto for bishops to take on board as they continue the work that they do in their diocese and archdioceses around the world. So tick of approval from me.
I just have to put up a reminder on my phone, or can you guys remind me? Well, maybe we can talk to our friend Archbishop Comensoli about what his thoughts about these.
It would be nice, to hear his thoughts, and no doubt he's seen them too. Yeah. Unless this is the first time he's heard them. It would be good to hear his thoughts, because honestly, if you're the audience, if our Archbishop Comensoli and the other bishops, are the audience, love to know, how do you receive that? How does that, what does it do to your heart when you hear that? It's you've been picked out, 5,000 people around the world out of 7 billion, and the Pope has picked you out and given you a beautiful manifesto of a bishop. What does that do to you? They're pretty powerful words. Yeah, I'd love to know the reaction. Yeah, very good. All right, Caroline, why don't we throw it over to you now and do a bit of science? Okay, so we're still, it looks like we're still staying with space science this week. No, I can see the last. I'm looking forward to talking about that last one. But let's start with the space rock, and you can name it for us. So tell us about the space rock first of all. That may be a piece of the moon.
Yeah, so it's a pretty rocky segment today, so bear with me.
Gosh.
Yes. So, guys.
Adrian, sorry. Go for it.
So, a space rock called Kamo Oalewa may be a piece of the moon. Let's go through that. So, there's a space rock called Kamo Oalewa, and it's 100 meters across, sized. And it's actually one of the Earth's quasi-satellites. Now, quasi-satellite is actually an object with a specific co-orbital configuration where an object stays close to the planet as they orbit the sun. So Kamo Oalewa actually orbits around the sun and then orbits a bit around the Earth and then back around the sun, right? So it's kind of classed as sort of like a near-Earth object. It was discovered in April 26th in 2016, and it was in images from the Pan-STARRS Observatory in Hawaii, hence the Hawaiian name for the big rock. Its orbit around the sun is similar to Earth's, with its year being about only 16 hours longer than an Earth year. And it's actually held in orbit by the Earth's gravity. And we were talking about gravity last week. It never goes further than 400 million kilometers from the Earth, or the most important part, it doesn't come closer than 14 million kilometers distance to the Earth.
Wow.
We definitely don't want it to come up and say aloha, do we?
No,
definitely not yet. No. Oh, well, not yet. Well, never.
We're quite happy with you where you are.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it's thought that Kamo Oalewa has been quasi-orbiting Earth for about a century, and it's expected it's going to do so for a very long time to come. Now, since this discovery, there's been a new research paper released, and it's pretty interesting because they think that it may be part of the moon. This journal article was published in Communications, Earth and Environment on the 11th of November this year, and it was led by Benjamin Sharkey and Vishnu Reddy. So they used the LBT, which is Large Binocular Telescope, and the Lowell Discovery Telescope, LDT, to observe the satellite. It actually becomes bright enough to observe every April. So they know when it's coming round, and they're able to put the telescope on and have a good look. And both telescopes do something a little bit different. So the LBT was used to obtain broadband color photometry and visible spectra. So, being able to see it and then look at it in the visible spectrum of light. And it did that on the 14th of April, 2017. And it also had a MODS spectrograph for imaging and stereoscopic images. So it looks at it at sort of, as a stereo image. So it's one image on one side, one image on the other side sort of thing, to make observations. And it was observed in visible and also in near infrared light. Follow-up imaging was made using the LDT on the 18th of April 2017 to collect information on signal-to-noise ratio data, which provides information about the light curve and rotation of the object. And the light curve really means the brightness of an object over a period of time and the surface brightness of the object.
I was going to say, Caroline, that is some great Star Trek techno babble you got there.
I know. I'm
Although
trying
this is
to
real
explain.
science, not babble.
It's true. I'm trying to explain a little bit as I go. So just to,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So it's not just blah blah.
No, of course not.
So and the infrared imaging is really good because it actually helps to distinguish a body as a moon, an asteroid, or a terrestrial planet. So it gives that extra information. Now, what did they discover about Kamo Oalewa? So let's go through it. And I went through, there's lots of articles, but I like to go to the journal articles, so I picked out a few good points.
Yeah, they're the good ones. Yeah.
Yeah. It has a light spectra similar to that of lunar rocks brought back to Earth in the Apollo missions. The spectral properties, which are the characteristics observed when viewing the satellites at different wavelengths. So again, the different wavelengths will give you different properties, like different clues to the rock. They're very similar to that of the moon. Sharkey, one of the researchers, said that it's not that there couldn't have been other asteroids with such spectra, but we haven't found anything so far that looks similar to it. That's why it's so special. No other asteroids that they've viewed have had these particular properties. Kamo Oalewa reflected more sunlight at longer or redder wavelengths, which looked unlike any observed in any other near-Earth asteroids. However, it did look like grains of silicate rock from the lunar samples.
Wow.
To get to the real detail, they had 19 lunar samples, and they compared it with the spectral properties of the sample of not the samples, but the viewing of the properties of Kamo Oalewa, and they found that the 20 to 40 micrometer grains, so that's the size of the grains on the Apollo mission rock samples, they actually had a close match to the light properties of Kamo Oalewa as they viewed them, which is pretty cool.
Yes.
So what are we really saying? What are we concluding about this? So they're saying that Kamo Oalewa could have, so these are the conclusions in the report. It could have been captured along with other near-Earth objects. However, its orbit is not like that of other near-Earth objects, so they're thinking maybe not. It could have come from a yet undiscovered quasi-stable population of Trojan asteroids, which are asteroids that actually orbit the sun in the vicinity of the Earth. Don't worry, it's a very stable orbit, so they're not coming close, right? They just have a very similar orbit. But they're saying that this would need more research and more observation of the pathways of the asteroids to see if it actually came from that group of unknown Trojan asteroids. And then the third and most favored by the research paper and science articles, because it is the most exciting conclusion that everybody wants to come to and they're going to test for as well, is that Kamo Oalewa could be ejecta from the moon's surface. So the moon is covered in thousands of craters. So it could be that Kamo Oalewa is the first bit of moon that's actually been found in space from one of its ancient collisions.
Oh, wow.
Has not had any recent collisions, just to make that clear.
That's good to know. That's reassuring.
That's right. On a side note, about 480 lunar meteorites have actually already been found on Earth itself. So we've got good samples from the Earth and from the moon itself. And so they're hoping to actually sample the Kamo Oalewa, and China actually going to be launching a mission in 2024 to attempt to collect a sample from the Kamo Oalewa surface and bring it back to Earth so that we can further compare it to the moon samples, and then you can do so much more, actually visually look at the sample and then do all these other tests to confirm to see if the composition is the same as the moon rock samples. So I thought that was just super exciting. Imagine if there is a bit of the moon floating around that we didn't know about, or, maybe there's heaps of it and it's just we haven't seen it yet. So we just don't know.
It'd be an amazing find. I mean, it's not exactly, you randomly just find a piece of the moon floating around somewhere else, in the solar system. It'd be an amazing discovery to say, we can confirm that this is a piece of our moon from a long time ago.
That's right. And it's not something they were expecting, because they do study, the near-Earth objects quite a lot, using telescopes and things. And then when they found this, when they found the light properties of this and, go, oh my goodness, it's the same. It's very similar to lunar samples. I mean, that's just amazing, isn't it?
It's brilliant. Yeah, and I love that that now we're seeing all of these missions. They're not, they're no longer just probes that go around planets or moon landers, which are all really good. But like now we're sending things to asteroids and we're collecting samples and we're firing at them and racing, but not racing buggies on them, but like we're putting little landers on them and all these great discoveries. Do you have anything else to say about Kama Ololea? Because I want to segue into the next one when you're ready as well.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say that these types of missions, just to go on what you were saying, is that it does give us clues to the formation of our solar system and the formation of planets and all of that kind of thing. So every single bit of, every single test that's performed, every experiment, every bit of information that we get, it all adds up and we can build up a bigger picture. I mean, imagine that the textbooks of the future are going to have all this amazing information, a lot more than we had when we were doing science at school. So it's just, really cool.
Yeah, the clues are right there for us to go and visit and pick up from. Yeah. So, Caroline, let's segue then into the other side of this, because it's great that we have all these asteroids, in the solar system, but one day there could be one that decides that it does want to get a little bit closer to Earth, and we don't necessarily want that because we like living. I hope that doesn't upset anyone, but we like being alive. We
love
solar
our
system.
planet.
Yeah. So if any aliens are listening, we just like existing. So
they are. They're listening.
Yeah, they're listening. Yeah,
they're
great
watching.
audience, by the way. Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Strange feedback. I can't translate it, but anyway. So NASA launched this awesome mission, which I loved watching. I actually had to watch a replay because I didn't get to watch the launch live. It was a SpaceX launching NASA's DART mission. So Caroline, tell us what DART is doing in order to defend our planet.
Okay, this is really cool. This is actually the first one of these missions, they're actually going ahead to test the possible redirection of asteroids. So this is the DART mission, the Double Asteroid Redirection Test mission. It's through the Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory and the Planetary Defense Coordination Office in NASA. So this mission is to test a method of planetary defense of near-Earth objects by crashing an object onto it. In this case, it's a little space probe, and they'll be using the kinetic impactor technique. They want to test if by crashing into a near-Earth object, the momentum will be enough to change the motion of the asteroid, which may be heading into Earth's direction. So really, they just want to knock it off course and see if they can do it.
They're playing pool, but
it's the same pool,
intergalactic pool. Yeah,
a little bit. So it launched on the 24th of November. This year from the Vandenberg Space Force base. I love saying that.
Space Force.
Space Force. And collision is due on 26th of September 2022. So we've got, sort of a bit less than a year until we know how the collision went. So it's aiming for a double asteroid system of Didymos, and it's got a little moonlet called Dimorphos, and that's what they want to knock off course. They want to try and knock the moon off course a little bit. They'll also have a CubeSat watching from a distance and capturing footage of the event, because the probe itself is actually going to be destroyed. And so, it's basically they're launching this probe. It's got these solar arrays that actually roll out, which is another technology.
Yeah, which is cool. Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Just quickly, we've seen that on the International Space Station recently. I think earlier this year they installed those and they did the rollout. That they connected them up and they just roll out on their own, which was really cool.
Yeah. It's good space-saving technique, really.
Really is, yeah.
It's really good.
And
so obviously they're going to, there's only a camera on the probe, so you'll see it going closer and then nothing. So what they're doing is launching a CubeSat as well, which will be viewing the whole thing from a bit of a distance, and they're going to be able to see what happened. Now they've stressed that this is far away enough from Earth that if they knock it off trajectory too much, it will not start heading towards Earth, which is kind of the
That's good to
opposite
know.
of
That's
what
good
they
to know.
want to do.
Yeah.
Because you don't knock the 8 ball into the pocket first. That comes last.
That's right. That's exactly right. And then to confirm whether they've actually knocked it off trajectory, another method to see if they've managed to do it is to measure the change in light as dimorphos orbits Didymus. So at the moment, they're able to view it's kind of a speck of light in the sky, and they see the moon going round, and then they're able to measure the light coming from it and the light properties again. So they'll be able to take measurements, compare them to before the probe crashed into it, and then see if any change was made. So yeah, I mean, another super interesting experiment being done out in space.
Yeah. And if things don't go well, we can always send Bruce Willis and a team of oil miners
no.
on a special ops mission to drill a hole, put a nuke, and blow it up. I mean, there's that too.
You forgot the other method, which is Superman.
We've got Superman. That's true. Yeah,
We can do that. We can try that.
I think Iron Man might be available at some point if we need him.
He might. He's a bit
Is he-
fragile though.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's true. Wow. Oh, wow.
Don't we have a giant space laser somewhere? Has that happened yet? Or
Hmm.
I'm not 100% sure about that one.
Not by,
What,
not that we know of, I think.
Are you telling me these
That's
things are
a
all
good
fiction?
answer. Yeah. I think not that we know of is probably a good answer to that one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So Caroline, just quickly as well. So I mean, because the question might be, why don't we just fire a missile or a nuclear missile or a laser or whatever else? So what would be the unintended consequences if we did that?
Well, I think it's probably quite evident what may happen if you fire a nuclear something into the
space.
space, not into the atmosphere. That's how they work. No, into space, and just say it went wrong and fragments went everywhere, and you had a few more meteorites, and other larger objects heading to Earth than you really wanted. And then maybe there would be a big game of pool knocking things out of the way. And I mean, we've got the space station up there. We've got actually 2 now. We've got China and we've got the International Space Station. There's a bunch of satellites. Like, you just don't want to create any fragments anywhere. And I just don't like the idea of nuclear anything being shot up into the sky.
Yeah, that's also,
anyway.
I mean, there's that too. Yeah, if it goes wrong.
It's true. That's true.
That's not a good idea. So, yeah. So, yeah, they're trying pool effect.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Well, Caroline, thank you so much for rocking our world with that segment.
That's all right.
Let's move on. So we're going to finish off the show like we always do by talking about what we've been watching, things that have been entertaining us. Hopefully at some point we'll be able to start doing segments where we talk about how we've been entertained by going out somewhere. So
yes,
yeah,
coming soon.
Coming soon. Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah. So before we talk about going out, let's talk about what we've done while we're in. So Caroline, I'm going to throw it to you, and why don't you tell us about the glories of Next in Fashion?
I'm sorry, I'm bringing down the show now, but that's the show that has popped up on my...
Don't bringing down the show, Caroline. We need to know about what's the next thing in fashion.
Changing direction. Actually, there's another thing I was doing that I forgot as well. I'll talk about that next. So that was entertaining me this week. So, in the evening, I just need some trash to clear my mind. So I've been watching Next in Fashion, which is a show hosted by Tim Gunn and Heidi Klum. So Heidi Klum is a supermodel, and Tim Gunn is a fashion guru in the fashion world. So they are hosting a fashion designer competition. This is it's hosted on Amazon. It's actually a rehash of a program called Project Runway. So now it looks like, I'm just guessing, Amazon has bought the show, and so they get these fashion designers, episode by episode, to design a collection or a garment, a collection of garments or a garment to a specific, I've lost my words. They'll have a specific topic for them, and they'll say, go and design according to this, and they'll have to do it. And in the end, the designer win $1 million. And for each episode that they, whoever wins the challenge that week will have their clothes sold on Amazon. So
Amazon.
Sold at Amazon.
yeah, so
Oh,
yeah,
there you've made it.
That's it.
Mhm,
That's it. I
mhm.
actually looked up some of the clothes. They're not something that I would wear, but they're pretty out there. But it's okay. I'm all into artistic things and everything, so it's nice. But yeah, that's interesting. It's a good show, good just cheeseburger show to sit down and watch.
So you need your fast food once in a while. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's
fast
it.
food shows. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this other thing, I was listening to an Audible book actually, and it's called Tell Me What You See, and it's by Major Ed Dames and Joel Harry Newman. And Major Ed Dames actually is a remote viewer. He used to be a remote viewer. He went, and I've totally inspired. This topic is I'm really hooked to this topic since Jimmy Akin.
Mysterious World, yeah.
I find it so amazingly fascinating. And so I was looking up a few things to listen to, and this book came up. And it's just about him and his journey through, how he became a remote viewer. He kind of had a gift for it when he was younger, didn't realize. He saw a lot of things, and then later on in life, what he was viewing, he actually saw when he was a child in an incident and things like that. And he's been able to help, find things through the military. He worked for the military. He was trained by Ingo Swann, who was,
Yep.
Yeah, we that Jimmy did an episode on, and then he started his own business of remote viewing, so doing it like trying to help find missing people and all of that kind of thing. So it's a really interesting read. Well, listen, I'm finding it really, really captivating. I just find, whatever you think of the topic of remote viewing, I find it really fascinating. I'm still on the fence about, because is it really a gift? Is it? I don't know. But, it's just like, sometimes you do have a gut feeling about something. I do believe we have that kind of a sense, so remote viewing's kind of a really big step in that direction. But, I just find it really interesting. And if you love the topic of remote viewing, I think it's a really good read or listen on Audible. So there you go.
And Jimmy Akin is a person who follows the evidence where it leads, and he's continually referring to remote viewing on Mysterious World. That's and something something he's read, something he's participated in, things like that. So it is a fascinating topic. I'm on the fence. I have no idea, but it is a really fascinating thing to hear about. And do humans have a sense, another sense that,
or a gift or something we just don't know about,
It's
that
so
we haven't
X-Files.
tapped into.
It's so X-Files.
Yes. I just love it. I just love it. I've got a whole list now of the books that I want to read following this topic now. So,
would you guys think that because of you being parents, would you have another sense of when your child, that when your child is in trouble, or would you need?
You do have an instinct.
Instinct. Sorry, not sense, instinct.
No. I think there's something to be said for that, because you kind of like something's wrong and then you just go, oh, maybe if I do this will help, and it works. And you're like, oh yeah, okay. So what do you reckon, Lindsay? You got that?
I just use the force. It's all right. Yeah. Damien and I have a special connection when something goes wrong with him. It's called 5G. So he just sends me a text message. It's usually in the forms of, Dad, I need some money to buy some food after school. But yeah.
Oh, true. Okay.
Yeah, my kids aren't up to that yet. So I have to guess. I use remote viewing.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
I use FPOS. I use Apple Pay.
Apple Pay. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I'm too cheap for that. Yeah.
You wanted to also mention Pokemon Journey, getting into the Pokemon universe.
Yes.
Yeah,
so I think I'm taking over the segment again.
All yours.
My son Harry, who is 7 years old, has just discovered Pokemon. Like fully discovered Pokemon. Like he'd heard of it before and it was okay, an episode here or there, but now he's like hooked. So there's all the episodes of Pokemon Journey on Netflix, and you've started from episode 1, and it's just taking me back to when we used to watch Pokemon. I remember the
90s.
first episode.
So old. Yeah, I can't remember all these now.
No,
wow.
We'll age ourselves, but that's okay. But I still remember the first episode with Ash, running,
Exactly.
being late to,
Yeah,
going off to the
yeah.
professor and being given Pikachu and hugging Pikachu and getting electrocuted by
Electrocuted,
Pikachu because
yeah,
he
yeah.
didn't know that he was electric
Yeah.
Pokemon. Anyway,
Yep.
so I've obviously been watching some with Harry here and there. He watches it before school, so we've been watching some of it.
Yeah.
And he's totally into it. He's discovered the Pokemon soft toys that we've had, deep down
here we
in
go.
the toy
Yep,
box. So out they come, and there's Pokemon battles going on, and Pokemon cards, and so we're full Pokemon now.
Caroline,
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but be very careful of the Pokemon trading card thing.
Oh no, they're not.
can
None of
be
them are
very
real.
dangerous. Yeah, I just say, yeah,
It's just fun stuff.
I don't.
But Lino, you know what? Now
yeah.
it's different. It's different when we were young because now,
Mm.
like Pokemon cards, they're all hand me downs. Like like Damien, my son, was given this massive like tin tray of Pokemon cards.
Oh my gosh.
From our brother, my uncle, Paul, his uncle Paul,
Oh my goodness.
who. Yeah, there's like, so he doesn't have to go and buy and collect them anymore. You just get
No.
them from someone else,
Exactly,
and play with these Pokemon cards. Yeah.
Yeah. True.
I remember Ninja Turtle cards when we were young.
Oh my goodness, that was
Turtle
we
cards.
we were so
Yeah.
into Ninja
We were
Turtles.
into Ninja Turtle cards. Yeah.
We were.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
we were going. Oh, this is a strange. This is a crazy subject to talk about cards. Sometimes you can collect cards and they are worth mint
Yeah.
if you can hold on to them. It's just crazy. That
Yeah.
subject. Ooh.
Oh, Tarzos. Do you remember Tarzos?
Tarzos.
Tarzos.
Packets of chips.
What about Star Wars Tarzos with the
yes.
holograms? They were the
my
best
gosh. I
Tarzos. Why did they
liked
do
the
that
Looney
again?
Tunes ones with Bugs
Looney
Bunny and
Tunes,
Daffy
yep.
Duck and all that.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is such an interesting subject, guys. You talk about because when you think about of all the franchises they connect to, we watch. Sorry, very quickly, we're watching a series called Gruen on ABC.
Oh, yes.
Gruen Transfer.
And they
yeah,
talk
yeah.
about ads. So
Yeah.
when you think about it, of all the things like Tarzos, Lego, everything like that, they have all their connections with all the other franchises. Oh, not franchises, but all the
Yes.
connections of Disney, Star Wars. What was it called? The TV show called Friends. Everything like that. If you connection with all that, you're making a mint. And you were
Yes.
talking about Tarzos. Yeah, wasn't there Tarzos Simpsons as well? I can't
Yeah, I
remember.
think
Possibly.
so.
I don't remember. Yeah.
Now,
Could be.
it's crazy. It's
Wouldn't
crazy.
be
It's
surprised.
just-
Yeah.
yeah,
We had so many Tarzos. I have no idea where
Yeah.
they are now. In the bin,
Oh.
probably.
yeah.
Hey, put Star Wars on it. I'm in. Take my money, please.
Oh my gosh.
No, I'm not that bad. Yeah. All right. So, Lino, over to you. So, now I haven't seen this yet. I haven't had a chance to watch it, but you've managed to watch the continuation of the He-Man series. So, the first part came out a couple of months ago. Now, the second part of that continuation. So, how was it?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, guys. At times, it can be very deep in their what they're trying to say to you. And sometimes it can be a bit corny. It's just the way the what's his name? What's his Adam? Prince Adam. He calls up the sword, and if I forget Bernadette goes, "He sounds so corny." He goes, "What do you mean corny?"
It's from the 80s.
Yeah, I was about to say. Let me go back to the 80s. Yeah, like Caroline said, the 80s was so corny with the cartoons, but there are classics because you are someone about Transformers. When I say
It
Transformers,
was all about
are corny.
things that transform. Yeah, like
Yes.
that's
Exactly.
cartoons. That was the
Care
best thing.
Bears.
You're like this
That's
ordinary
right.
thing that becomes something extraordinary. That was the whole point. You know,
Yes.
Of course, if
robots
you
become trucks, and you know,
Yeah.
people become birds.
Magic
I don't know where that came
Smurfs.
from, but you know,
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, Caroline. Yeah,
Yeah.
Lizzie. Yeah, it's
Jetsons.
that's it. And you
Yeah.
can call out,
Little
by the
kids
power-
become Banana Man. You know,
Oh, Banana Man.
Oh
Banana
my
Man.
goodness me, Banana Man. Okay. Oh well. I'm tearing
Inspector
up with-
Gadget. Okay,
yeah,
now we're
that's
good.
right.
Yes.
Yeah, go gadget
Sorry,
copter.
go, Lino.
yeah.
Oh,
Sorry,
no, good. No,
you
no,
put
it's
us
all
down
good,
this
guys.
rabbit hole now.
Yeah.
I'm just tearing up with nostalgia here. So yeah, it is. It's if you call out some Ninja Turtle or Transformers phrase, anyone knows about it.
Yeah.
Of course, if you call out by the power of Grayskull in the middle of the street, someone will go, yeah, okay,
Mental.
Okay.
he needs help. Here's a card for you. But anyway, it's that sort of line catchphrase. Oh, catchphrase. That's right.
Catchphrase,
that
yeah.
Everyone wants to know about. It's a good show, guys. I must admit at times it can be a bit too serious.
Okay,
too
yeah.
serious. Yeah. I like you, Lindsay, you would do, and you, Caroline, would do. I'll probably watch it before letting the kids watch it
Okay.
because there are
Good to
some
know.
parts where it's a bit,
Yeah.
a bit too strong
Okay.
in the sense of adult themes. Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really different than the way we used to watch it, guys. I think that's the only problem I have with these new shows. At times they get a bit too serious. You know what I mean? You know, they get
Yeah.
too
They take themselves too seriously.
Yeah, too seriously. Come on, look, settle it down, keep it as it was. But the problem is they do that, and the show doesn't do well, and they go, oh, we're going to change it around. Let's modernize it.
Yeah.
Change
you know
things
what I
around
don't
and
like
all-
with TV shows, and I think I've had a rant about this before, but when they take the original concept and they you know,
Yeah.
let's modernize it,
Let's
let's
modernize
update
it.
it,
No.
and
It
then
was
you
already good.
get but then you get the season 1 Klingons from Star Trek Discovery that don't look or sound like Klingons
Sound like
anymore.
Klingons.
It's so
Yeah.
true.
Right.
That's not updating. That's
It's that's exactly when we watched Star Trek the original series. They goes, oh, they're the Klingons.
Yeah, they're just like
They don't
people
look
with
Klingons and all
with
that.
face paint. Yeah.
We should have like a montage of Klingons doing the whole Star Trek
Yeah.
Yeah, with
series.
Klingon metal in the background music.
Yes.
We've done
Yeah.
that. Yes. Yeah. That was good. Yes.
Yeah. So it's look, like I say, watch it, guys, before you let the kids watch it.
Mhm.
But it's a good show. And of course, I think they're making a next one, so there'll be another third one.
Yeah, I think the
see
plan
how
was to
they're
have
gonna go.
3 parts. Yeah, I think that was the plan. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah.
another one there too.
Look, let me
Yeah.
be honest. When I was little and I used to watch He-Man and She-Ra as well, the only reason was for the actual like transformation scene, the corniest
Okay.
part. I used to love by the power of Grayskull. What was it? I am the power.
Yes,
I used
yeah.
to love
That's
that when I
right.
was
That's
little.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
When I was like a 4-year-old or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember how old we were.
Yeah,
Caroline.
we used to watch that. Yeah,
We were very young.
we
Yeah.
were quite little.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Kimber the White Lion.
Kimber
Oh,
the
wow.
White Lion.
You're going back now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
And the other one,
Wow.
the Condor. What's the one there?
Oh, the golden, the bird, the spaceship, not spaceship, the
Oh.
ship that was a bird. The
Yeah, it
golden
was set
wow.
in South America.
The South
Yeah.
America.
They
Yep,
actually
yep,
remade that, but I never
Yeah,
bothered
that's
watching it.
true.
Okay.
Yeah.
We used to
Ooh, wow.
love it.
Yeah. All right. Oh, Lena, did you want to quickly talk about the film Nobody?
Yeah, that's just another one to probably watch with your partner, because that's from the creators of John Wick. If anyone knows about that.
Okay, so not family entertainment.
I think
then,
it's a bit of a Keanu Reeves franchise now.
Yes. Yeah.
I think the first one was done by someone else, and then like all the actors do now. It doesn't do too well. We'll buy it.
Yeah.
Good example is Fast and Furious. But anyway,
Oh. Ugh.
so yeah. No, look, it's a good show. Basically about a guy who just does the everyday things like we do. In a sense, we look after our family, go to work, come back, go to work, come back, look over the thing. Everything happens until his house gets broken into, and they take his daughter's bracelet. And he just goes nuts.
Okay.
He looks for these people who's got this bracelet, and I won't spoil the show, but you watch it and you go, okay, that's why he's what it's like. But it's different. And we just wanted to watch something that, like you said, I would say popcorn or fast food show.
Yeah.
Something we didn't have to totally think about.
Yeah, mindless action flick. Yeah.
That's right. Just watch it and see how everything goes. But actually, before I finish off, is like I want to watch a show called Knives Out with Daniel
Okay.
Craig. It's about this mystery. Yeah, it's a bit of a comedy mystery, but it almost goes for about 2.5 hours, I think,
Whoa.
or 250 hours. And
That's a commitment. Yeah.
Yeah. But I heard it's pretty good. It's got a few good actors in there, so that's one show I wouldn't mind going and see. Game wise, sorry guys, I'm still playing COD. But
You child.
yeah, trying to unlock the next skin. Anyway, and then started playing Star Citizen once, but that was good. That was good. And Caroline, I'm get back and playing City Skylines because I
cool.
have a city.
Yes. Yeah.
I still have a city to build and finish off because I want to expand it. You can expand to other parts of the thing.
Awesome.
And I also want to get into that. But I'm afraid to open my file and go, oh, OMG, what have I done here? It happens every time, so I had to just demolish the whole city and start all over again. Yeah, just like SimCity.
Yeah.
Like getting through half a painting, stopping, and then going back to it. It's like, oh no, I can't, I can't finish it.
Exactly.
I'll go through mine really briefly. So the first one, now I haven't finished this first one. I've only started it because it's an hour and a half long. So it's a documentary by the YouTuber Everyday Astronaut, Tim Dodd, and he's a massive rocket nerd who's really good at explaining rockets for everyday people. So I really like the work that he does. So his latest documentary is called The Entire Soviet Rocket Engine Family Tree. And when he embarked on the journey, 2 years ago, he embarked on the journey of wanting to go through the development of Russian rockets, because as you know, Russia has a very big rocket history. With developing rockets, launching them. They're very influential on on American rockets in some ways as well. And so he wanted to look at, investigate and understand that. And what he didn't realize is how complex the history actually is. So it took him 2 years to research, film, create. He got it peer reviewed several times so that people could look at it and, filter out inaccuracies and make sure he got the story right. So I watched the beginning, and just in the beginning, he goes through all the terms that you need to know and the names of things and the codes of things so you can understand what he's going to talk about later. This is a very complex story, and I'm looking forward to looking at the rest of it. So if you'd like to know some history of the Soviet rocket program and the development of Soviet rockets, it's a great one to watch. So, and he's very engaging in the way that he presents as well. So, and the good thing as well, he's clean. So you can watch it with family. Like if you've got any kids who like rocketry or space or anything like that and want to have a go with them, you can be guaranteed that there's not going to be any swearing or any, like sometimes a YouTube will chuck in a random swear word or something. You can be guaranteed that he's very family friendly. So I like that. I tried watching on Netflix a new series called Cowboy Bebop. Because I'm a bit of a science fiction person, and I know it's a remake of the cartoon. I watched the cartoon series. I reckon. Oh, how old am I now? I forgot. No,
it was long ago, man.
I can confidently say it was about 17 or 18 years ago when I watched it. When I watched the original series, and it was. I remember the series being entertaining, very strange sometimes.
Yeah, it can be a bit. Yeah,
but I don't think, even though there was a bit of violence, I don't think it was overly violent. I could be wrong about that. Don't quote me on that. But it wasn't too bad.
No.
So this series, because it's a Netflix series, it turns the violence up. It dials it up. It dials up the innuendo. It it does the usual, that kind of stuff. So I don't know if I can recommend it. I've gone through some of it. I don't know how motivated I am to watch the rest of it. It's they try to portray the characters from the cartoon, and it's hit and miss. I think the series itself, the design of the actual sets, the special effects all look great. That draws me in a lot too. Things like that, the design of a show. The best character I think they do is Jet. He's the big guy that owns the ship. Lino, if you remember the Bebop.
Yes, yeah, Jet.
I actually think the actor that does him does a really good job. I like his one.
Who's the lead actor? What's his name?
John Cho is the lead actor that plays Spike.
That's what John Cho's. He was Sulu, wasn't he, on Star Trek?
Yes, in the Star Trek movies. Yes, that's right. Yeah, in the 2009 Star Trek movie, and from there. Yeah, so and he plays Spike, who's the other character, and Spike, he's a good actor. That's right. He's a good actor. I'll give him that, but I think he's hit and miss with capturing the character. And I guess you don't want to say it should be just like the cartoon. Of course, it shouldn't be. But the problem is that the design of the show tries too hard to be like the cartoon. Like even at the very end, at the very end, how there'd be like the title card, like "See you in Space, Cowboy," and things like they do all that, like, and Session 1, whatever it's called, and
Yep.
So it's okay. It's up and down. There might be an episode or two that are better than others. I thought the first episode was good. But then from there, it's not a bad series, but it's just not a great series. And unfortunately, it's one of those ones again where you've got to go through like some stuff if you really want to be committed to watching it. Like there's just content in there that it's like, did I need to see that? Was that necessary? Yeah. Sometimes it's creative and sometimes it's just very bland. That's my overall. But if anyone's watched Cowboy Bebop before and wants to compare the cartoon to the series, I recommend it for you. But I definitely don't recommend it for kids at all. Like, keep it away from your children. Yeah, and just need a bit of a strong stomach to watch some of it. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah. Something that I do recommend for families that was better, it was Shang-Chi, The Legend of the Ten Rings. The latest, well, not latest, it was latest this year, but it's not a Marvel film.
Yeah.
And so it came out on Disney Plus, so they released it on Disney Plus now for viewing. So I watched it with my family. We had a lot of fun watching it. And it's very much got that, that Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. So they tried to go with the Chinese influence of filmmaking in terms of the sort of like, the Chinese action films. How sometimes the fight sequences look more like dances in a sense. So and that's not a criticism. I actually think that's quite nice. They've tried to capture that sense, which is quite good. So it's a fun one worth watching. I liked the story, and I really love the setup that's in there in terms of the extra credit scenes that they put in the credits, and like the mystery of what's of where they're setting up the rest of the franchise. And I loved all the characters. The characters are actually really cool. Like like Shang-Chi himself is an awesome character. They had the girl whose character name I'm going to go mental blank now. Clearly a comedy actor, but comedy relief, but also depth in there as well, which was really good. And some great links to Doctor Strange going on as well. So there's some crossover there.
Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah.
Yeah. And all I'm going to say is that karaoke references were very funny. Like, they were really well done. So yeah, they make some great karaoke humor, and it's just without spoiling too much, it was very funny. So there's some good moments, laugh out loud moments. And while I'm on the Marvel trail, my son and I, actually no, it was my family again, we started watching Hawkeye this week. So we've seen the first 2 episodes were released when at time of recording, and it is very much set up as, I think, that Die Hard vibe of calling it a Christmas series, a Christmas movie, like something, an event happens around Christmas. So this is happening around Christmas. So Clint is with some of his family in New York for a holiday. He's actually gone to watch Rogers the musical, and it's so
Rogers
corny and so bad.
Okay.
So he's watching. It's a musical about the Avengers and the fight against the Chitauri in New York.
Really?
And,
there's a musical
for
it. Oh, of course, yeah. There's musicals for everything, isn't there? Yeah.
But they ham it up. It is so corny and so bad. And I was watching. I was cringing. I was looking at Damien going, "What is this?" I just thought, I really hope they don't make this musical in real life, is what I thought. It's so bad. Yeah, they will, exactly. Someone will, yeah.
Wasn't there a musical about Diana in Netflix, and that just got caned?
Oh, boy.
That was a musical of Diana the musical. That just got caned. Sorry, guys. And I thought, yes, please don't make everything a musical. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, Bono from U2, didn't he make Spider-Man the musical? And I think that...
What? There was a musical of Spider?
Oh. Look it up. It's a real thing. Oh. Yeah, I don't know. I know it had production problems. I think it ended up going ahead. I don't know. But anyway, so, but this, Rogers the musical, funny as a concept in a series, do not make it in real life, please. All right? Just do the world a favor. All right. 'Cause the lyrics, just listen to the lyrics in the songs. They are so bad that, anyway.
Yep.
All right. Anyone who appreciates musicals, if I'm wrong, tell me, but I think I'm right.
Yeah. Look, we go and see musicals. We see the classics like Mary Poppins.
Oh yeah,
Wizard
Chitty
of
Bang
Oz.
Bang.
Chitty Bang Bang.
Musical films.
My Fair Lady.
Yeah, I was a fan of West Side Story. I enjoyed
West Side Story. I haven't seen that, but I've heard that's very good.
I've got tickets for Hamilton for next year. I can't wait.
Awesome!
There you go.
Good.
Cool.
They were on
I still need to watch that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It'll be great.
Yeah, I saw Evita a long time ago.
Evita? Yeah.
Don't cry for me, Argentina. That's right.
What was the other one? Oh my goodness me, Les Miserables.
Les Miserables.
Yeah. Sorry. Yep. And
you've just offended all our French listeners, but
we are talking about the classics, guys, and
I love Les Miserables. And I love the movie that came out. I forgot when it was.
Oh, okay, I haven't seen that, but that's with Hugh Jackman.
With Hugh Jackman, I love that film, and I love this. I love the story. It's
cool.
Les Miserables is beautiful.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fiddler on the Roof. That's an old one.
Fiddler on the
Roof. Yes.
Tradition.
Yeah.
We start singing musicals. Yeah. Yeah. So we've just put all these for any musical lovers who are listening now. We put all these songs in their heads.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just working it up. I've got that song. Yeah, now I've got tradition. Anyway, moving on. Anyway, yeah, getting back to Hawkeye. All I was going to say was, it's based around Christmas. He doesn't want to be involved in anything. He just wants to be with his family at Christmas time. But of course, circumstances force him into a problem that he has to deal with. I'll just say that much. And I like what I've seen so far. It's a good setup. I've seen there was some preview scenes that Disney Plus released that haven't been in the series yet, but there's a lot of action like related as well. And I actually liked the first 2 seasons of Arrow, like that the DC series. The rest of it was a bit but
yeah, very changed.
Yeah, but it's got a very much it's got an Arrow vibe in some ways as well as the other character, the young girl, is a bit of a vigilante, got this vigilante thing going on. So, definitely recommend Hawkeye. It's a lot of fun, great. I think it's relatively safe for family. But it's great. So recommend that one completely. And hopefully the rest of the other 4 episodes will be good too.
Yeah, are they going to sort of put them together, Lindsay? Are they going to make collaborations with what's it called, Falcon and Winter Soldier? Or because these guys are all after, connected. Yeah. Are they? This is after Endgame, so all doing their own little thing. Are they a bit of a connection later on, or collaboration?
They may. I don't know. Like crossover, all of these series seem to be feeding into what's going to happen in the movies next. I think that's the connection there. Hawkeye, like one of the main things that's going on with him as a character in terms of character development is he's still feeling a lot of guilt for the death of Black Widow. So he's carrying that with him everywhere.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I think from memory, a character from the Black Widow movie, another character who knew Natasha very well, is going to show up in this series. It would make sense to me if this character did show up. I won't say any more about it, but it would make sense to me if this character did end up in the thing. And considering like there's a Russian street gang. Yeah. Okay. So there's the connections there as well. They're like a tracksuit gang or something. They all wear tracksuits.
I don't know. There's a stereotype, guys.
Stereotype, yeah. And they're a bit like they're kind of dummies. You've got the really harsh one, and all the henchmen are dummies. That kind of yeah. Anyway, let's leave it at that. Otherwise, we'll be talking about this forever. I've still got tradition playing in my head, but let's move on. So we want to thank you all so much for joining us for episode 69 of the Catholics of Oz, all the craziness that as we laugh and joke about these things as well. But before we go, we'd like to take a moment to thank our patrons who make it possible for us to create the Catholics of Oz. Today, we want to thank Steve S., Dante V., Jeremy N., and Wendy T. And interestingly, and Dom told me that this is just by coincidence, today we are also thanking Caroline K. So
hey.
You made the list, Caroline. So there you go, as one of the patrons. Yeah.
Yay.
So Caroline, through your generous donations, as well as all the people I've just mentioned above, so Steve, Dante, Jeremy, and Wendy, through all of your generous donations at sqpn.com/give, they make it possible for the Catholics of Oz and all of the other shows on StarQuest to continue. You can join them by visiting, you can join Caroline by visiting sqpn.com/give. Also, we'd like to know your thoughts about the topics we've discussed today. So you can send your feedback by visiting sqpn.com/Oz, spelled OZ, where you can find all of our show notes. And while you're on the SQPN website, please don't forget to sign up for the Insiders Club newsletter to get updates about your favorite shows and what's happening, what the topics they're talking about as that gets released. And that's at sqpn.com/about/newsletter. If you are a North American listener, we're not, but you are. So you can join the StarQuest fan club mailing list by texting the word StarQuest to 66866. Send StarQuest to 66866. I don't know how that number came about, but it's such a tongue twister for me. But anyway, and you can also visit SQPN's Facebook page, as I mentioned before, facebook.com/StarQuestMedia. And don't forget that the Catholics of Oz also has our own Facebook page as well, facebook.com/Catholics of Oz, where you can join us and discuss the content from our latest episodes. And if you're a bit more traditional, you can reach us by email at catholicsofOz@sqpn.com. And for those who have emailed us, we have, so there's been a few emails since the last couple of episodes. I have seen them. I haven't responded to them, but I do plan to do that in the near future. Lindsay has been very, very busy lately with work. So, and at some point I won't be. I can't wait for that day to come. Yeah, it's good work, but it's very busy work. So to finish off, Caroline, thank you so much for rocking the episode today.
Thank you. It was a load of fun.
That's awesome. And Leto, thank you for once again bringing the power of Grayskull back to the
I was about to
Catholics of
say,
Oz.
this is the last thing we're probably going to say. By the power of Grayskull, happy Christmas? I don't know. Anyway,
Soon.
but
Happy Advent. Happy Advent.
Yeah, happy Advent.
Happy
Thank
Advent.
you, Caroline.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, and we will
Yes,
talk about Advent in our
wow,
next episode.
yeah.
Yes, but yeah, all the best for a great beginning to Advent for all of us as we prepare for the coming of our Lord, the celebration of Jesus and his birth into the world. So let's prepare our hearts as we do that, and we'll have more to say about Christmas in our very last episode for the year, which will be episode 70 in 2 weeks from today.
70. Wow.
Episode 70. We're getting a bit old. Yeah.
Wow, guys.
So actually, on that note, we know that our 100th episode is coming. I think will we get to it next year? Maybe the year after. But either way, it's coming. So, don't like when your 40th is coming, don't you plan ahead? So shouldn't we start preparing our 100th episode now?
100th episode.
It's still a long way
Oh,
away.
A year away. Yeah.
Yeah. We got time to
We
prepare.
got time.
We got time. But knowing us, we'll plan it at the last minute. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
true.
the night before.
You might be. Anyway,
Yeah. All right.
I don't.
So
Anyway,
on that note, on that sledge, thanks.
it was coming. Had to let it out.
You had to, yeah. So thank you very much, everyone. I'm Lindsay Sant. Thank you so much for listening to episode 69 of the Catholics of Oz on StarQuest. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Wow.
Sorry.
I know.
Oh, good.
Oh, I got roasted in the last few seconds of the episode.
Can't hold back that sibling rivalry. I do
Oh,
apologize.
know.
wow.
Yeah.
I do
There it was.
apologize and I don't. Take
And
it.
here I was thinking everything was going to be nice between us, and then that sibling roast just comes out of nowhere.
It comes out. I can't help it.